The culture is absolutely...
The gut ain't running anymore! Calling both games.
Chicago is a year behind schedule. What they should have done in the 2021 offseason is what they're doing now. And it's thanks to a fluke 7th seed. The fate of self-destruction comes for every team that fancies itself as far more than what they are. The Bears are no different. Dirty bombs were activated at Soldier Field. They've somehow made the stadium prettier than it once looked. Khalil Mack was their prize acquisition a few seasons ago, but now is the time to shed his contract. The Chargers will take him on for a song, so Khalil, you were a great soldier, but you can't stay healthy. Goodbye, sir. The likes of Allen Robinson and Eddie Goldman, they're gone too. The rebuild will begin, but they're not actually rebuilding what they need to. Their offensive line is still hot garbage. Their answers to aid Justin Fields' development are Byron Pringle and Equanimous St. Brown. Bears are seriously going to reinstate the killing fields, aren't they? I guess they haven't lost their ability to ruin quarterbacks. Oh boy. It's been an offseason for the Bears, hasn't it? Endless shedding of pieces. They might be trading Tevin Jenkins away. Every goddamn wide receiver they tried to bring in immediately got injured. And Roquan Smith wants to be paid a fair wage. McCaskey's coil at the thought like a vampire near holy water. Smith will play out the final year of his deal, which will conveniently have him suffer a severe injury because fuck everything. With a new regime, they want to develop Justin Fields in the process. By develop, I mean kill him before he has a chance to make a 3-step drop in the pocket. Just like Soldier Field, the Bears are a complete mess of differing visions, philosophies, and concepts. The move away from Chirac to Arlington Heights is all but assured, but Chicago wants to keep them in the city. Now, what's their idea? A fucking dome! Because the answer is making Soldier Field even more of a Frankenstein than it already is. The Bears will be that by week 14. Even with the teams that are choosing to blow it up and start from scratch, there is still plenty of intrigue with the NFC. So many teams desperate to win a championship or go far into January. And even more trying to make a name for themselves. The NFC East hasn't had a repeat champion in years. So I'm going to maintain that narrative and pick Philly to win it. The NFC North is still Green Bay's to lose, but they're slowly losing grip on their stronghold. The NFC South has a few suitors, but the Bucs are still too loaded to really fail unless they get injured to hell and back. The NFC West? Huge question mark, but I think the Rams are still the team to beat. But what about the wild cards? It's tough to choose, there are so many good options here. In this case, I'm choosing the Niners, Saints, and Vikings. Yes, the Vikings. I think people are sleeping on them. Then again, we've said this about them before, only for them to fall apart. Sorry about that, Minnesota. It's not NFL football without an extremely inconceivable weather phenomenon wreaking havoc. In an effort to get the Bears to agree to a dome, a downpour as relentless as Lori Lightfoot's reign of terror pelted the field of play. 3+ inches of rain plus new sod featuring 2 young unproven quarterbacks. What that equals? A relentless battle of mid. The Niners cavalry was stuck in mud all game, and it neutralized the field of play for Chicago. Being forced to pass San Fran either didn't trust Trey Lance or the conditions were too fucked to do anything besides throw like shit. This was the chance for the Bears to strike. Thanks to the Niners taking a shitload of penalties and lapses in defensive coverage, Chicago wins a game sloppier than the field of play. With this on the docket before the game. Nobody knows, but now Bears fans can say Justin Fields is developing because of 3 passes. Considering their reputation with QBs, I'd honestly take it. Despite all the chaos and insanity of modern football, there are things that still remain the same. That being Green Bay teabagging the Chicago Bears at every given opportunity. It's to be expected the Bears are quite young and undergoing a much-needed rebuild. However, that won't stop Aaron Rodgers from claiming a stake of land in Arlington Heights. And in Chicago proper. Chicago tried their damnedest to stop the two-headed monster of Rodgers and Aaron Jones. I don't blame them for failing, it's just that they were the unfortunate victims of a revenge game after a Week 1 failure. The Bears can try all they want, it won't matter in the end. Be it by their own mistakes or Packer might, they will lose this game. Maybe it has to do with that failed goal line conversion where they ran a QB sneak out of shotgun with a disadvantage at interior line on 4th down. Yeah, that works well. It was over then. Tough luck, Bears. Fail again next time. Welcome to the first unofficial Tank Bowl of the season. I say unofficial since Tank Bowls don't begin until about week 8 or so. Even if legitimacy and tanking will be contested, both teams embrace the spirit of chasing for the number 1 pick. This game could be called many things. Good football is not one of them. The only positive is that the Bears can run the ball with authority. And even that is to be questioned since the Texans are trying to chase Bryce Young like he's tail that just became legal. It's a comedy sketch. Justin Fields can't throw accurately, Houston can't throw for shit, defenses are merely benefiting from offensive incompetence, and few outside of these two markets give a shit about this game. However, this contest is tied at 20 deep in the 4th. Now we will see who cares more about securing the top pick.
Starting to rain at Soldier Field on 3rd and 1. Mills, pass deflected, intercepted! Roquan Smith!
Well done, Houston. You have successfully begun your quest to the ultimate tank. Please step aside and dream about the future as the Bears win ugly in the short term. You guys know the real goal, and I respect that. We were all anticipating one of the ugliest games this league had seen in recent memory throughout the week. Like a lot of things in New York as of late, this game did not disappoint. It was a complete shit show and anything resembling competent play. The only thing that seemed to be working for both sides was the rushing attack. Chicago may not have had David Montgomery, but that didn't matter. Everything else was an absolute wreck. Passing, maybe gas because New York didn't try to throw and Chicago threw waves of defenders in Justin Fields' face. This is one of those games where neither team deserved to win, but a tie would be cruel and unusual punishment for the audience. We may as well pick someone to win out of a hat, so victory to the Giants. They now become the worst 3-1 team to apparently ever exist. G-men have no wideouts, a porous line, no run defense, Daniel Jones got injured, Tyrod Taylor came in and he got injured, and Justin Fields can only throw one good pass a game. But you're 3-1. Small victories, New York, even if they're against shitty teams. In the next chapter of teams that can't finish their shitty opponents off, we have the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know what to think of them. They're much better than last season, but as games like this show, they have a long way to go before they're taken seriously by the football public. The Bears suck. A visibly rebuilding franchise trying to wash off the stench of the bumbling Nagy and Pace shit show. With the Vikings immediately rushing out to a 21-3 lead, this should have been a complete blowout where I used tired tropes to talk about the Bears. Unfortunately, what I forgot is that purple is the color of royalty, and this noble was poisoned by his own servants. As they writhe and gasp for air, Chicago manages to somehow cobble together offensive drives. It takes a while for them to do so, but with Minnesota's offense unable to solve the dreaded mystery of kicking an accurate field goal, it's plenty of time for them to come back into the game. Justin Fields actually looks somewhat competent. It's the most damning testament about the Vikings so far. Kirk Cousins does his standard Kirk Cousins interception at a crucial moment, and the unthinkable happens. The Bears have taken the lead. Minnesota can't let Chicago win a game. They gave themselves the Heimlich maneuver to revive the offense. Kirk Cousins uses his atrophying clutch muscle to lead a drive down the field to allow the Viking horns to sound in the deep. They have retaken the lead with a touchdown. But the Bears won't go down quietly. With time still on the clock, a chance at snatching victory is theirs.
Fields underneath, he finds the former Viking Amir Smith-Marset, and it's stripped away by Dantzler!
Too bad Cameron Dantzler did the same. Like many teams, Minnesota escapes with an extremely ugly win. Get the fuck out of here before I rip you further. I want my 3 hours back. I was watching it in passing while enjoying glorious hockey being played, but goddammit, this game was a waste of my time. The only positive to seeing it unfold was hearing Al Michaels slowly wither and die as it went on. It was as bad as advertised. Hopefully we'll get a good Thursday game the same time Justin Fields doesn't completely miss on an easy throw. Meanwhile, Carson Wentz is simulating his career trajectory by throwing everything away. But then you have Brian Robinson. Dude went from being shot trying to fend off a carjacking less than 2 months ago to starting at running back for Washington. Him scoring a touchdown was one of the only bright spots of this game. How else would you tolerate the constant fuck-ups by both teams? Chicago self-destructing so badly that the commies somehow have the lead. But then again, the one thing that always fucks them up is the human element. Joey Sly is an insanely inaccurate kicker. And Washington's defense is insanely overrated. Chicago somehow has a chance to win with seconds left. Crazy, I know.
Fake toss to the end zone, and it is juggled. Did he catch it?
Fucking up the 4th down conversion because you didn't have possession at the goal line. That's a fitting way to end this shitfest. Perhaps this is the dirt that Dan Snyder was talking about when he speaks of taking the league down with him. Do it, Dan. We will dance in the flames of chaos. The crowd's getting restless, Bill. Trickery has deceived them into thinking Bailey Zappi is the future. Mac Jones is flailing around aimlessly, unable to do a damn thing. Losing to the lowly Bears is an unacceptable fate. With his back against the wall, Bill takes a swig of his Parcells sweat jar and decides to cater to the crowd. Bailey Zappi is here to save the Patriots. Hear the roar of the crowd as he manages to move the football with ease. The swelling of pride from Boston can be heard as the rest of America groans in unison. We all know this could be a breakthrough game for Justin Fields. Subvert your expectations, motherfuckers. It's time to bear down in Gillette. This is easily the best performance of Fields' career. I don't know if that says more about him or the Pats defense. The Chicago Bears scored over 30 points in an actual football game. It's like Halley's Comet, this only happens once every 70 years. Kind of like New England being outright humiliated at home. Good work, Patriots. You have a quarterback controversy on your hands and you have problems to deal with no matter who you pick. Have the fans been zapped yet? Honeymoon's over, Bears. The time has come for you to get shredded feet first in an industrial grinder. You can give Justin Fields some help anytime you want, Chicago. I get he has flaws, but when he's soloing the group quest, he's bound to be sentenced to death. No matter what he did, everything around him died. The team defense couldn't stop a damn thing against the Cowboys. The offensive stars of Dallas destroyed all hope. Was Robert Quinn really that vital to this group performing? If it's not that, how about a brutal fumble which destroyed any chance of this team coming back in the second half? Giving up 49 points, regardless of how, is usually not a good sign that you're going to win a game. Dallas just rolled over their opponent like they were nothing. Perhaps someday Fields won't be killed by the team around him. It'll probably happen with another franchise, though. The Bears are in a state of transition. Turns out it isn't just Robert Quinn headed out to promised lands east. The Roquan Smith saga has reached a predictable end. Chicago was never going to pay him, we all knew this. By sending him off to Baltimore for 2nd and 5th round picks, they at least get something for him. Smith should be an instant upgrade for the Ravens at linebacker. And hopefully that defense can stay healthy enough to make a playoff push. As Maryland celebrates the hopeful end of Patrick Queen, there are other concerns in Chicago. They need to get help for Justin Fields. He's shown improvement over the past few weeks. It's the most shocking revelation of all. They're allowing him to utilize his strengths as a quarterback. It's incredible, but he has no receivers, or anything to prevent him from death. The logic is sound. Acquire a big target for him to throw to. Who did they get? Oh no. Chase Claypool? And you traded your own second to get him? The so-called top 3 receiver of the league. He doesn't use his body in contested coverages. He runs poor routes and has terrible situational awareness. You have to ask why a team with a rookie quarterback that could use good receivers is trading away a wide receiver. The man who's experienced with the eternal frustration of Mapletron? Have fun, Bears fans. You'll be frustrated with him by week 13. Being traded away? Never heard of her. The offensive showcase is an increasing rarity in the age of shitty football. Most weeks it turns into a slog after a litany of careless mistakes. Here, it's the best of what the NFL offers. The high-flying might of Miami shredding anything a defense throws at them. Justin Fields lathering himself in grease, eluding every single defender in his sights. A blocked punt by the Dolphins for a touchdown. It's not offense. Oh well, let's go with it. It's a tale of anything you can do, I can do better. Tua throwing what many scream are underthrown balls to Tyreek and Jalen. Justin Fields having the most complete game of his NFL career. Over these past few weeks, it's as if something just clicked. Maybe it's not having Matt Nagy force him into a conventional role. He only set the league record for most rushing yards by a QB today. Things seem bleak for the Bears, but the Dolphins run out of gas. Every Miami fan's punching air as they can do nothing right in the second half. They keep turning the damn ball over on downs. Their defense suddenly can't tackle or stop a third down. Tua underthrows a wide-open receiver due to poor footwork. Chicago has a legit chance to steal a win in the heart of Soldier Field. The chance is there for Fields to have his moment. Let's see if he takes it.
They need the Dolphin 48. Messy pocket going deep and looking for Claypool. Broken up.
That's got to be.
Holland.
There's
no
nothing. There's so
flag.
bad.
How is that not a penalty? The defender was holding Claypool like he was his prom date. I get it, Chicago, and you like to fuck them over like this, but at least give them the chance to lose it by themselves. Bullshit like this only pushes narratives. And yours is letting Miami escape from their own self-inflicted wounds. Well done. The Bears can only have moral victories instead of a real one. There may be a time where this matchup isn't a guaranteed tank bowl. It was fringe at this point, to be fair. Detroit did end up beating Green Bay by the grace of God. And Chicago is Justin Fields. And that's pretty much it. Against the Lions, this should be good enough to win, however. The man is single-handedly carrying the Bears to some form of relevance. And he shifted public perception on his career faster than he evades tacklers in the pocket.
Nope.
Matt Nagy tried his best to ruin him, but like most other things he did as a coach, he failed. The electric field shocked Detroit to secure a 14-point lead in the second half. Things are in cruise control as the Motor City has no answers. Chicago capitalizes with a crucial pick to... Is this hands to the face? These refs need their joysticks recalibrated because they just gifted the Lions a touchdown. Fields would counter, but he decided to take the Kyler Murray comparisons a little too literally, if you get my drift. Tie ball game on a pick six. Chicago then unleashes the gamut of their might. Mostly in Justin Fields running for his damn life and somehow scoring points out of it. It's that fucking rabbit in Super Mario 64, you can't catch him. Don't ask Cairo Santos to help. He's going to shank the extra point wide. Things get eerily quiet in the Windy City, but then someone blinks. It's the Bears. Their defense folds like a deck of cards. The Lions march down the field for a touchdown and stun the world by kicking an extra point through the uprights. It then turns into Justin Fields versus the world. The world crushes him on the first push. The Lions laugh to the bank by winning their first road game in 2 seasons. Really? Almost 2 years? Jesus, that's pathetic. Chicago Bears are the ultimate enigma of the league. A team that can do the impossible yet somehow fail to accomplish the most basic of tasks. They're at least a fun excursion while they spend the year losing for the almighty future. Justin Fields is blossoming in front of our very eyes, but he's still very, very raw. Can he tap into that upside? Who knows, but it's good to finally see him be allowed to use his damn feet instead of die in the pocket. That being said, the Bears still need many, many things. Like a defense to stop any sort of offensive attack. Or absolutely any talent they can get their hands on. This is what happens when you take a team down to the studs. There are a lot of imperfections. Same goes for the almost equal enigma that are the Falcons. They can show this sudden burst of skill yet fall to being a glorified tank just as fast. Against this defense, they can flex their strong running attack with a secondary passing threat. Both teams are trading blows in this affair, and we're tied at 24. This is when that wonderful Bears defense does its thing and bends to the might of Atlanta. Imagine saying that as Younghoe Koo drives the dagger in their heart. Chicago would counter, but it's not meant to be.
On third down, given time. Too tall and Jalen Hawkins makes the interception.
The duality of Fields. There is much work to be done, and this loss proves it. If only he had a better everything around him to help out. By the way, a special shout out to Cordero Patterson. He just set the league record for kickoff return touchdowns. Is he a Hall of Famer? I never gave it much thought, but he could be. Sometimes dreams can come true. After last week's disastrous showing in the game in the post-game press conference, Zach Wilson was told to fuck off. There was only one option to start, and the Jets knew it. Mike motherfucking White. He is the truth, and he will lead New York to the promised land. Chicago, however, will be without Justin Fields. They're rightfully erring on the side of caution after his shoulder injury. It will now be Trevor Siemian trying to throw all prayer into the wind. You know what could have saved you, Bears? If you had started Peter Meme. It was the only way you could have countered Meme Magic. In these miserable conditions, Mike White proved he is the real motherfucker on the Jets. Over 300 yards passing, 3 TDs, and an impressive victory. Don't give me this shit about the Bears being banged up to hell on defense. Mike White is him. His power is so potent that it throws a huge wrench into the prophecy of the almighty coin itself. An impressive rebound that was desperately needed. Congratulations, Zach Wilson. You've just lost your starting job. Your eyes aren't deceiving you. The Packers in a tank bowl? Are you out of your mind? Well, before this game, Green Bay had a top 10 pick in the draft. This is a tank bowl. Don't tell them that, though. They still want to foolishly believe a playoff berth is still within striking distance. Fortunately for them, guess where they are? Their vacation home in the heart of Chicago. Every time the Packers stare in the face of hell or fail in January, there's always the warm embrace of their hated rival to the south. They only have Justin Fields being sent out to carry an entire freight liner to victory or die trying. I will say he's doing his best attempt in doing so. The Bears have a really strong lead headed into the half, but then you remember, Aaron Rodgers owns Chicago. Long after life on this planet is dead. Long after the sun is burned out. Long after our memories and traditions are merely dust drifting across the cold abyss of space, Aaron Rodgers will defeat the Bears. He pulled out the whip from his bag of bullshit and started beating people with it. Be comforted, Chicago, your tank is still secure. Their reward is the cold, bitter death of elimination. So close, yet so far away. This is the story of the Chicago Bears. A team with an electrifying talent blossoming into his own QB and little else. For them, an unprecedented win is always within reach, but they just can't come up with it. The Eagles felt unchallenged by the Bears in their current state. So they amplified the pressure by committing gobs upon gobs of unforced errors on offense to keep this a game. Or maybe it's to keep fans interested for advertising purposes. I think Justin Fields is good enough for doing that all on his own. But even then, he isn't goddamn Houdini and can't pull wins out of his ass. Philly's defense stiffens up, and the Bears just can't keep pace, despite the Eagles doing everything in their power to hand them a win. Know how sloppy they were? They had 3 turnovers, a turnover on downs, and a missed field goal. If Chicago were anything resembling talented, they would have won with ease. But alas, they must dream of that top draft pick to come. No point in victory here. All it would do is fuck up their long-term ambitions. I only wish for more Nathan Peterman sightings in your endless quest. Nothing screams Christmas time like playing football in horrifyingly cold conditions. I know the Bills are used to it, but this was the most frigid road game in team history. It didn't really affect Buffalo in the end result all that much, but when you're against a team with next to nothing, it's not hard to do. Things look questionable in the first half, but let's be real. You're playing the Bears. Their fans clamor for nothing more than a relentless tank. They will accept their quarterback that shows some semblance of a pulse. Do you know how rare that is for Chicago? That's the ultimate win of their damn season. Buffalo may dominate in every other aspect, especially in regards to the ground game. Winning means everything to them. Let them have it. What better way to solidify your claim to the AFC East than with an interception off Peter Meme? It's poetry in motion. I couldn't be prouder if I were Bills Mafia. The Motor City may have hit a pothole or 6 last week, but a little trip to the repair shop should fix all those issues and then some. What a perfect target to get ready for next week than the lowly Bears. Get your kinks out of the way and destroy the shredded remnants of their defense to a very, very convincing win. Over 500 yards of offense charging towards a date with destiny next week. They did what they needed to do in all 3 phases of play. The goal, warm up to leave Green Bay dead in its tracks. Speaking of dead things, Justin Fields. Not him as a talent, he's just lying as a pile of goop on the field of play. Bears, just start Peter Meme next week. Unless you're just trying to kill Fields for the insurance money, there's no reason for it. Detroit will take it though. the greatest miracle. In this league's darkest hour, an angel rose from the ashes of tragedy. Nathan Peterman is starting a football game in 2023. The most glorious blessing that has been bestowed upon us in uncertain times. With Justin Fields nursing injuries, the goal for Chicago is to lose with incredible speed. There is an unsung tank to guide to greatness. Minnesota needs this game more than the Bears do, and the boys at Soldier Field will make sure of it. Mostly with throwing in Aaron Rodgers' clipboard holder Tim Boyle to throw tasty treats to the Vikings defense. Despite being 9 games over 500, Minnesota has a point differential of -5. That's all you need to know about them. It may be another ugly loss to lose 10 in a row, but there's no turning back now. They need to look to another matchup for glories unseen. The Super Tank Bowl!
Aikens right there. Lines up outside, comes inside, watch him over the middle.
Who will pick first in the draft? Mills to the end zone. It's caught. Aikens.
You fools! You had everything you could have wanted and then some! This reeks of sabotage. In no coach's right mind should he destroy a glorious tank unless he wants to burn every bridge possible. Worse, it was against Indianapolis, who needs a franchise QB and is able to move up to the 4th selection. It's a disaster for Houston. But then again, Lovey was the head coach of the Bears at one time. And with this Texans win and their horrible time, a new champion appears at the 11th hour. With pride, may I introduce to you the winners of the 2022 Tank Bowl, the Chicago Bears! Graphics you receive from a QB-hungry team be plentiful and robust. At least it can't get worse than it has been, I guess. Anything I say that involves shitting on the Bears can't hurt them. You've already heard it all. Yulcor being shipped off for scraps, next to no talent remaining on the roster, and a predictably terrible season were the result of 2022. However, Bears fans have some signs that can lead them to a brighter tomorrow. Off the field, Ted Phillips is finally moving to that great accounting firm in the sky. Way too late to salvage lost seasons, but perhaps Justin Fields can help for the future. Chicago finally let him utilize his feet. You know, his greatest strength as a player. It's too bad there isn't a team around him and his arm is very raw, but you just hope he can get that year 3 Josh Allen jump and call it a day. They have an interesting offseason coming up. Houston fucking their tank has brought them the #1 pick in the draft. They can trade it for a premium haul to a QB-hungry team. The Bears have almost $100 million in cap space this offseason. They can make noise if they play their cards right. If you do, it'll go a long way towards people forgetting you traded your 2nd rounder for Chase Claypool. Good luck. You've got work to do.